You're listening to 772 Sports, a local Treasure Coast sports podcast highlighting everything from Little League to the NFL. Here are your hosts, Curtis Carpenter and Mike Higgins. All right, everybody, welcome to another episode of the 772 Sports podcast. This is Curtis Carpenter. I am on the line with Mike Higgins. How are you, Mike?
Good, man. How's it going?
Doing all right. I'm excited about our program today. We have a lot of fun stuff. Tell the folks what they're going to hear.
Well, we're going to get into a lot of NFL, right? I'd say a majority of this show is going to be NFL talk today, right? We got playoffs coming up.
Playoffs.
So that's going to be fun. We had obviously the national football or the college national championship game. We'll go over, which I don't know what there is to go over. A 30-year-old college quarterback sort of
just beat up on them little kids.
And we can't quite get rid of MLB, can we?
No, we can't. Carlos Correa refuses to let us get out of MLB.
So we got a couple of things to cover there, and then of course we'll do a little bit of NBA and NHL talk. But I think you're going to start us off with a little bit of high school stuff, yeah?
Yeah, man. Yeah, you ready?
I'm ready. Look
All right.
forward to it.
Little Treasure Coast chatter. Here we go. Treasure Coast chatter. All right, everybody, this is Treasure Coast Chatter. It's where we talk about Vero Beach High School sports. In the football season and in the baseball season, we'll probably touch on some other schools. But for the winter sports, we've been focusing primarily on Vero Beach High School because, let's be honest, Mike and I, we really don't know much about these winter sports.
Nope, that's a fact.
So I'll give you a little update on Vero Beach basketball. All right, they are not doing good, Mike. They're still not doing good. They're 4-13. They lost to Treasure Coast, and then they lost again last night on the road. I forget who they played, but yeah, they didn't do well. Mike, it's not good, buddy. Oh, they lost to Central. They lost to my wife's alma mater. I'm glad she doesn't listen to this because I would never be able to live that down. But yeah, so Vero's 4-13. They do play Tuesday at home against a school called Harmony. And then they play next Thursday, a week from today, on the road in South Fork. So hopefully they are 6. Well, if they play on Thursday, we won't know the score. Hopefully they're 5-13 the next time we talk about them. And then the girls' team, Mikey, the girls' team is making up for the boys' team. They are 10-8. They're on a run. They've won 3 of the last 4. And they play Kings Academy tomorrow away. Again, I don't know where Kings Academy is. Sounds like Jerusalem.
Nope.
I don't know in Florida where Kings Academy is, but yeah, they play tomorrow away, and then their next game is at home in against Vieira next Friday. So that's the boys and girls. Boys 4-13, girls 10-8. But boy, did I see something exciting last night. You ready for this, Mike?
I am.
Dude, I went to a wrestling match, and I'm not talking Hulk Hogan, WWE. I'm talking a high school wrestling match. And it was bonkers. Dude. All right. So a little backstory. My best friend, and Mike knows this, my best friend's a teacher at Vero Beach High School. We've talked about him on this podcast before. He teaches the Unified program, and they've won 3 state championships for Unified. They've won in bowling, track and field, and flag football. Okay, and again, if you guys have never listened to this program, Unified is it's a athletic program where they take able-bodied students and special needs students, and they hybrid. It's a merge, and so they have regular athletes and then again special need athletes, and they play other schools, and there's a playoff, and I mean it's a big deal, and Vero Beach High School probably has the best unified program in the state. It's pretty cool. So at the wrestling match last night, they honored Stephen Bird for I don't know, being the greatest unified coach probably in the history of unified. And so that's why we went again. And I was like, okay, well, he doesn't know that they're going to give him the ceremony thing. He doesn't know this. So right. I'm like, all right, when I see him, he's going to ask why I'm here. And I'm going to say, well, I'm doing research for 772 Sports, which was not true at all. I was just there to see him. But it turned out I did some research for 772 Sports. First of all, Mike, have you ever seen a high school wrestling match? Have you ever been to one?
I went to one in high school, but I've not been to one in 20 years. So,
do you understand the scoring system in wrestling?
I do not.
Yeah,
I do not. I know it's
nobody
crazy
does.
And takedowns.
Nope. Nobody understands it, dude. I'm asking people in the stands. All right, we got 4 points for that. We got 6 points for that. We got 2 for this. We got 5 for that. I have no clue how it works. All I know is these 2 guys were laying on the ground, and they were there for like I don't know, 30 seconds. And all of a sudden, people started getting really loud, and the guy on the bottom would twitch. Like, I mean, he would literally like barely move, and people would go nuts. They're screaming and yelling, "Oh my God!" And I'm looking at people around, and I'm like, "What is going on here?" Well, apparently, if you hold them down long enough, you get extra points, and then the points you get in your match, somehow they correlate to the points that the team gets. Mike, I'm intrigued. I gotta go. I'm gonna be an expert on high school wrestling by our next podcast. It is the most arbitrary, subjective, wildest scoring system I've ever seen in any sport in the history of sports.
So it's no referee doing 1, 2, 3, right?
There's no, man. This ain't. I'm telling you, this is not Macho Man Randy Savage. This is like there's a referee and he's there and he's counting, but he's not pounding the mat. He's like sticking his hand out like a foul ball or something. I don't know, but that being said, Vero has this kid. His name's Cooper Patton. Remember this name because he's top 10 in the state, okay? And he mutilated this kid. He should be arrested for battery on this kid. I mean, he just whooped his tail. It was hilarious because they get in all these little moves and these little locks, and every time the other kid tried to get on Cooper, Cooper had him. It was like game over. And there was they played Martin County last night. And by the way, we left near the end. Vero was up 36-18. I don't know what that means.
Uh-oh.
I don't know. I mean, again, it could 36-18 might as well be C to F. I mean, it didn't make any sense to me how it worked. Vero was up, so I think they won. I think they beat Martin County, but there was a Martin County dad in front of me, and he was getting really excited, like match after match after match. And then when Cooper came up, the guy just kind of put his head down and was looking at his phone, like he knew this kid was about to get murdered. So
he's heard about him, huh?
He must have heard about this kid. And then Vero also has another kid, and I apologize, I don't know his name. He is the center for the football team. I did get that, but he's top 20 in the state. And I didn't get to watch him wrestle. We left before he wrestled, but we had the baby, and it was getting kind of late. But Mike, I'm going to more wrestling matches.
That's cool. I do know enough to know it's weight classes, right? Like There's a bunch of different weight classes.
So there was some coaching strategy too. I don't know the wrestling coach's name. I apologize, but check this out. Sorry to interrupt you. This again, I'm so excited about this. So there's a multitude of weight classes. Again, 125, 135, 145. I don't know what the numbers are. Okay, but if you have a guy that wrestles in that weight class and the other team doesn't, you get 6 points. Boom, you win. You win that match. So if you're a high school coach, I mean, you're just going to the entire student body, just saying, "Hey, what do you weigh? What do you weigh? What do you weigh? What do you weigh?" Like, get the kid in, because we got 6 points last night because they didn't have a guy. So anyway, it's weight classes.
That's pretty cool.
It was exciting, Mike. I know I sound like a crazy man, but this wrestling match was cool. So for those of you that are listening that have never been to a high school wrestling match, that have no idea about how any of it works, I highly recommend you go. I don't know when they wrestle again. I don't know.
That was my next question. Do they do once a week? Is it something they do a couple times a week?
I know that it's 2-minute rounds, and I would have lasted about a tenth of a round. Dude, these guys, oh my God. And like the way that they're bending their arms back, I was like, oh man, my shoulder would be dislocated in 2 seconds. But anyway, that's my report from the Vero Beach High School Martin County wrestling match last night. It was wild.
That's awesome. I got to make it to one with you.
We got to go.
That would be cool.
We got to go. Yeah. So that's wrestling. Because again, we said on the last podcast, like, hey, we don't know anything about wrestling. If you want us to talk about it, let us know. I accidentally ended up at one, and I'm a little upset that I don't know more about it because it was cool. So. That's it.
So last thing I got is how did it go with Birdie last night? He was surprised.
Oh, it's funny. So, all right, I'm there with the kids, and again, I've got an alibi. I got a reason why I'm there, right? But his wife's mom was there, and I'm chatting with her, and she's like, "How am I gonna tell him why I'm here?" And I'm like, "You don't have an excuse. Like, I don't know why you're here. Like, I know why I'm here. It's for the 772 sports thing." So. He gets there, and he sees her and doesn't think twice about it. And then they do the whole thing, and he really looked surprised. So I don't know. I think he was surprised, but I don't know how you could be surprised if your mother-in-law is there and she doesn't know anything about wrestling either, and has no reason to be there. So. Yeah.
Anyway, well, I'm glad they honored him or did whatever they did. That's cool, man. He's a good dude.
Oh, so he's tremendous. He's a saint.
Yep, that's really cool.
But I can thank Bird for my newfound passion for high school wrestling. So
love it.
So that's it for Treasure Coast Chatter. We got basketball. We had wrestling. I don't have any updates for soccer. I don't think they played. I think there was. Oh no, they did play because they had all those games in a row. I don't know. I don't know how they're doing. They weren't doing so hot before. I remember that.
Yeah, I mean, we need somebody from Vero to call in and give us an update on all this stuff. Yeah. So I'm going to work on trying to find somebody to do that. Somebody that has
some Vero connections.
I mean, I'm pretty good friends with Ken Willis over there, James. Maybe I can get him on. He knows a bunch about the sport, so maybe that could work.
There you go. Yeah, let's figure that out because I would like to. I would definitely like to have more to talk about. In these segments. So.
Yep, I agree.
We can find somebody great. Cool. All right, that's it for Treasure Coast Chatter. Again, Mike, you want to add on to anything else?
No, I'm good. I'm excited about wrestling now just from listening to you. So
okay, I did get
to a match.
I did get an update on Vero Soccer. And they are 3-4-3, and they play tomorrow in Jupiter, and then they play Tuesday at home against Martin County, who got their tail whooped in wrestling. That's it. That's your soccer update. So we got everything now on Treasure Coast Chatter.
We're good to go.
All right, you want to talk college football?
Let's do it.
All right, here we go. 772 Sports is brought to you by Vero Beach Social Media, your local digital marketing agency. From Facebook advertising to graphic design to podcast production, Vero Beach Social Media has you covered. Contact them today at 772-999-6636 or visit VeroBeachSocialMedia.com. College football Gridiron Gab. All right, everybody, this is Gridiron Gab. It's where we talk a little college football. We had a kind of an anticlimactic game Monday night, didn't we, Mike?
Yeah, that wasn't very fun. I mean, I guess if you're a Georgia fan, that was fun. What did you think about it? I mean, that was just a complete dismantling. I thought it was going to be a better game, but obviously I was wrong.
The highlight of the game was when you texted me and said, "Hey, I see your commercial during the national championship game."
Yeah, I was pumped up about that.
Yeah. So, I own a marketing company, and we put an ad in the national championship game. It's not quite Super Bowl money, but next best thing. But it was boring as all get out. Stetson Bennett, he just
30-year-old Georgia quarterback.
Yeah, he said screw them kids, beating up on TCU. So I was rooting for Georgia because I'm not a fan of a 12-team playoff, and my argument is if the number 4 team or number 3 or 4 team, whatever, if they get blown out, right, then how can we justify putting the number 12 team in the mix to see if they deserve a national championship? And I know you don't agree with me on that, so I want to hear your take on it.
I do kind of agree with you, but there would have been an argument this year for a 12-team playoff where Alabama and USC and all of them would have been in this playoff. So we probably would have seen Alabama play Georgia at some point.
But we already saw it in Georgia.
Well, I know, but in the playoff, I sort of feel like this kind of helped the idea for what they have for a 12-team playoff, because everybody else was saying, "Oh, Alabama should have been there, so-and-so should have been there, not TCU." But 8 more teams would have had a shot had we had a 12-team playoff. I guess. So
you're saying that they just got it wrong with putting TCU in as one of the 4, even though they won. Though they won a playoff game.
No. I think TCU deserved to be there, but I think Alabama. In a 12-team playoff, I think would have made obviously more noise than TCU.
Gotcha.
So I do think TCU deserved to be there, but then we see what the outcome of that is. So that's.
I mean, you can go back to the previous podcast. I've said all year Georgia's the best team in the country, and I think that. They proved it on Monday. Holy cow, man! They're just firing on all cylinders, and so the TCU. I didn't watch a lot of the game. Was TCU just lost? Were they overpowered? Were they making mistakes?
I think just all of the above. I think the game just got away from them immediately, and then they were pressing, and then it just kind of got out of hand.
Gotcha.
They were outmatched physically, obviously. But yeah, I just Stetson Bennett was unbelievable. The guy threw for 300 yards, passed for 4 touchdowns, ran for 2 touchdowns. I'm like, what the hell are we watching?
Well, somebody was scoring touchdowns. I mean,
yeah, I mean,
they scored a lot of points.
It just, I don't know, man. I don't know what it does for the playoff system. I mean, they're going to 12 regardless.
Well, yeah, it doesn't really matter. But I just I don't like the idea of 12 teams. And again, my thought process was, all right, well, if the number 4 team's getting blown out, what's going to happen to the number 12 team?
Well, what if the number 6 or 7 team is Alabama?
Yeah, I mean that's an outlier. I think. I mean, Alabama normally is one of those top 4 teams, but and you could make an argument that they should have been in. And TCU could have been.
Yeah,
in,
there is an argument for that, but I do believe that TCU deserved a shot there. I think Alabama did lose it in the regular season. So, is Georgia the new face of college football right now? Like, are they that next great dynasty? They have to be, right?
Did you see the clip of David Pollock saying that, and Nick Saban was sitting right next to him, and he's like, "Uh-oh." I mean, if you're back-to-back champions, I think that you're definitely the flavor of the month. You know what I mean? Like, there was a time when Clemson was the face. There was a time when now Georgia's the face. It's like Alabama is that guy that's just always there, and maybe they're going to take a step back every now and then. Like right now, they're taking a step back. But yeah, I mean, to answer your question, yeah, Georgia is Georgia's the team right now. They're the guys, not Alabama, but Alabama's still in it. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah.
So yeah,
as long as Nick Saban's there, Bama's going to be there. So.
Yeah, I mean, to answer your question, yeah, Georgia is the face of college football on January the 12th, 2023. But if Alabama wins the national championship next year, it swings back their way.
Yeah,
and every year, like you said, I mean, every year Saban's there, they got a shot. So I'll be curious to see what the preseason rankings are going into next year. And again, the portal and all that stuff's going to have a lot of the say on that. But
yeah, there's still going to be a lot of movement there.
Yeah.
So
can Stetson Bennett play like an 8th year?
I don't know. I saw there being jokes about that, but
so for those of you that don't know what the hell we're talking about, Stetson Bennett's literally like 27 years old. Is that?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he started college 6 years ago, and then he had a red shirt, then an injury, and then COVID, and
he went away from Georgia for a year. He went to
he played JUCO,
a prep school or something.
Yeah, he's had a full football career in college.
Yeah,
like there are NFL guys that don't play as long as he does. He's the same age as Lamar Jackson.
There is 6 current, and I don't remember who they are, but there's 6 current NFL quarterbacks. I think it might have been in the playoffs that are younger than Stetson Bennett. Pretty sure. Like it's Lamar Jackson, Tua,
probably Herbert.
Yeah, Herbert. There was 6 of them. I wish I would have saved that graphic, but yeah, there's 6 of them.
That's hilarious. Oh man,
Brock Purdy. So
yeah, Purdy's young. Yeah. Well, anyway, so yeah, congrats Georgia, congrats Stetson Bennett on not only winning the national championship but qualifying for AARP. Who else?
So real quick, do you think Stetson Bennett is going to be any kind of NFL quarterback?
I'm sure he'll get drafted. I'm sure he'll get a shot. It reminds me a little bit of like Chris Winkie. Came out of Florida State, won a national championship, was in his upper 20s, coming out as a rookie. Played a couple of years with Carolina, didn't do much. Again, had a shot. Do I think Bennett is going to light things on fire in the NFL? Probably not. Listen, if he goes to a phenomenal program that, a team that has the weapons around him,
right?
He could probably do well, but he's not a guy that you're starting your friend. He's not going number 1 or number 2, I guess, to Houston. They're not looking for him. He's not going forward to Indianapolis. They're not looking for him. He needs to go 28, 29, 30 to a team that's like, all right, well, you'll sit as a backup for a little while. I guess I need to really think like who that would be, like what team that would be. Seems like everybody, all the really good teams in the NFL have younger core. Where he'd probably fit in well, maybe, is Minnesota. they've got a great program. Kirk Cousins, I don't know how deep into his contract he is, but Bennett comes and sits for a year or two. And then he's there. The problem is his age. He sits for a couple of years and then he's, too
31.
old to play. Right. So I don't know, man. I don't know. Probably not. The answer is probably not. But
sounds good. That's probably what I'd say. So
yeah,
I was just curious.
I wanted to talk about. There was one other thing I wanted to talk about. Oh, Jim Harbaugh. Where's he going?
I saw that. Did he interview for the Colts job?
Not yet. No, they've interviewed a handful of guys, but they haven't talked to him yet. They're going to. I mean, he's definitely going to get a look. But man, he is definitely a hot commodity. There are people left and right trying to bring him along.
Yeah.
Do you think there's a chance he stays in college, and if he does, that it's not Michigan?
No, I think if he's in college, it's going to be at Michigan. I think they have him locked up for college. He may be tired of the recruiting and all that goes into, being a college coach. I'm sure it's a lot. There's a lot more than maybe not a lot more than being an NFL coach, but with recruiting and all that, it's a daily grind, and I don't know if he's tired of that yet.
Yeah.
I could definitely see him making the move though.
Yeah.
To the NFL.
It sounds funny, and I think the NFL's got to be an easier job. Got to be. Yeah. I mean, listen, NFL coach, it's a year-round job. Don't get me wrong. I mean, you're doing things in February, March, and April that even May. But man, college, it's 365 days nonstop. They got to be working 16-hour days, like.
Yep.
And again, portal, NIL. Oh my God, man, I cannot imagine. The NFL's got to be easier. The NFL's got to be tougher as far as schemes and all that, but
tougher, more stress, maybe like more almost held to a higher standard.
Right.
Less of a leash, I should say, maybe in the NFL. But
and there's only 32 of them. I mean, there's only 32 of those jobs.
Yep.
So the best, hypothetically, the best 32 are there. But man, I don't know if you could pay me enough to be a college coach. Seriously, like, I mean, maybe Jimbo money, but
I mean, $8 million a year, which is what Mario Cristobal's making. We're gonna have a conversation. Yeah,
it's gonna be. I'm gonna do it for a few years. I'm gonna make enough that I don't have to worry about life after that. But I took a screenshot. I brought up Jimbo. I took a screenshot. I'll never be able to find it here. But he is the first. Oh, I found it. Oh, Mike, we dropped the call with Mike. Hold on a sec. We're gonna call him back. What I was doing was pulling up this graphic here.
Did you hang up on me?
No, you hung up on me, but that's all right. I found this graphic, Mike. This is interesting. We were talking about Jimbo. This year, Texas A&M's Jimbo Fisher became the first college football coach ever to be ranked among AP preseason top 6 teams and finish the season unranked for a third time. He did it in 2017 with Florida State. They were preseason number 3. They finished 5 and 6, and he left during the season. All right. Yep. Then last year, Texas A&M was ranked number 6 going into the season. They went 8 and 4, finished unranked. This year, they were ranked number 6, finished the season 5 and 7, finished unranked. I did not realize that 2 years in a row they finished unranked with one of the highest paid coaches in the sport.
Yeah. That's I don't know. I thought they would have already bought him out. We've had several conversations about this. So it has to be the buyout. The buyout has to be the reason he still has a job, right?
I was talking to my brother about this, who listens to the podcast. Shout out, Ricky. He was saying, well, who do you go to? All right, you get rid of Jimbo. Well, who do you get? And it made me kind of start thinking about that. Like, all right, not only the buyout, but you gotta figure out who else you're gonna get.
Well, I mean, I'm sure they'd kick the tires on Urban Meyer and guys like that. I mean, it's Well, I'm sure there's guys to.
Yeah,
I don't know, man. We both swore he would be out this year if he struggled, and he's obviously not. Man, talk about some job security. I don't know what he's done.
I was going to say,
to be able to have that kind of job security, but
he's secured a huge buyout.
Do a worse job. Oh yeah,
that's what he's done.
Good point.
So that's Jimbo news, and then just one other thing I want to touch on. There have been 2,000 students enter the transfer portal this season. 2,000 athletes 2,000, Mike. I didn't know that there were and again, this is all sports. It's not just football. But I mean, that number, I cannot even look. I literally can't believe it.
It's shocking. It's killing the bottom tier of high school recruiting, I think. I don't know. They're going to have to do something with it.
It's just nuts, man. I mean, that's 2,000 kids.
Yeah, it's nuts. I mean, there's not a lot to say about it. It's kind of like the Wild Wild West.
So, all right. So, did you have more to say about that? Because I was just going to bring something up about Gridiron Gab.
I don't know what to say.
My question was, all right, national championship's over. Is this it for Gridiron Gab? Are we killing this segment until August or something like that?
Probably, maybe do a couple segments during spring ball, but I don't see there's not going to be much to talk about unless we want to do a recruiting one in a couple weeks when it all shuts down.
All right, this might be a temporary suspension of Gridiron Gab.
Yeah, we do. I did want to bring up the NIL because we always talk about that, and I don't know if you saw this. I briefly brought it up before we came on air, but
that's right.
The kid Jaden Rashada, who is a top 5 quarterback in the country and was Florida's top-rated recruits to this point, has come out and said he wants out of his national letter of intent to attend Florida because of the NIL money. I guess he maybe didn't get paid what he thought he was going to, or they said, listen, we don't have the money. So it's getting wonky, CC. I don't know.
That's kind of hilarious to me, by the way. The Gators, just because I'm a Gator hater. They're like, I'm sorry, it's just we can't do what we said we were gonna do. That's basically how it was. Their little Gator collective basically came out and said, we don't have the money to pay you what we said we were going to. That makes my heart warm and fuzzy. So all right, how's this work with the transfer portal? So he's there. Can he jump back in the portal?
This is what I'm saying. He's already signed his letter of intent.
Oh, so this wasn't So this is a high school kid. Got it. I don't know anything about him. So okay.
So he just signed his national letter of intent, his NLI. Right.
So can he jump in the transfer portal now?
That I don't know. He's trying. The reports are he's trying to get out of his
national letter of intent so that he can go somewhere else where he can make more money.
Right.
Yeah.
So, it's a mess. I don't know what to say about it really. I loved the story because it's Florida, and you know how we feel about Florida on this pod.
Yeah, we don't agree on much in college football, but that one thing we agree with. So
yeah. So yeah, that's all I have. Yeah, I think this is going to be a semi-retirement of the Gridiron Gab for a couple months.
Okay, we'll put it on hold for a little bit.
Part of the pod, but
yeah, all right,
we'll make it work. We'll add something in there. Maybe we'll do a little college basketball talks.
Yeah, okay. So that's how we'll do it. We'll come up with a catchy name for that college basketball segment. We're getting into conference play, so we should be talking a little bit more about it, getting into March Madness.
So next week we'll fill it with that.
Let's do it. I like it.
Let's do it.
All right. So what do we got next? A little baseball? Speaking of suspending segments, right. This one here is just it's hanging on for dear life. It
hangs around.
All right. A little Major League Baseball talk coming up. Here we go.
Do it.
Around the horn. All right, folks. This is the segment that just refuses to die. Around the horn. It's our MLB segment. We haven't played a Major League Baseball game in 3 months, but we continue to have this segment on the podcast because free agents, most notably Carlos Correa, refuses to allow us to stop talking baseball. For those of you that have lived under a rock for the last week, Carlos Correa has agreed to a new contract with a new team with new terms. Shortstop Carlos Correa and the Minnesota Twins are finalizing a 6-year, not 12 or 13, 6-year, $200 million contract. Not $315, not $350, $200 million. There is a vesting option that can max out at $270 million. And the most important line of this entire story, it is pending a physical. Again, if you don't follow baseball, if you have no idea what we're talking about, Minnesota Twins shortstop Carlos Correa, who was a free agent, originally agreed to a 13-year, $350 million deal with the San Francisco Giants. He had his physical. They didn't like something, an old injury he had with his left leg. They went to him and said, we're going to have to renegotiate. Scott Boras, who's Carlos Correa's agent, said, nope, we're not renegotiating. We're finding another team. The next day, they agreed to a 12-year, $315 million deal with the New York Mets, pending a physical. The Mets look at him. They look at his history. They say, we're going to have to do some negotiating here and figure out how we can do this because your leg's not going to last 12 years. Scott Boras said, nope, we're going to a new team. So he went back to his old Minnesota Twins. Doesn't have to change his locker, doesn't have to sell his house. He can stay right there. And they've agreed now to a 6-year, $200 million contract. What the hell's going on with this guy's leg, Mike?
I don't know, but I think it's officially official with Minnesota, right? So this should be the last time we talk about this. Like, they did a press conference with the jersey on. So I don't know what's going on with his leg. Obviously, Minnesota's not as concerned. This contract is more along the lines of contracts I'd like to see signed anyway, a 6-year contract. I mean, signing a 10-year or 12-year contract is so silly. We've talked about this. I think Minnesota made out good in this.
It's one thing. So, again, we're both Dodger fans, if you don't listen to this. It's one thing that I love about what the Dodgers have done this offseason is they haven't given one of those away. They have one guy. The Dodgers have like one guy signed after like 2026. Do you know who that is? Just take a wild guess. It's 2023. I think we have one guy that's signed like more. It could be Freeman has a couple years. I think his is up in like 26, and then there's one guy that's out to like.
It's got to be Mookie, right?
Mookie signed through like 2030, but he's the only one. And so far, knock on wood, January 12th, 2023, he is a top 5 player in the league, and he has been for the last 6 or 7 years. 6 years.
Yeah, maybe. I don't see that ending for 4 or 5 more years.
Listen, the guy could, you could crash a motorcycle tomorrow, and this could all be moot. But what I'm getting at is the Dodgers don't get into these ridiculously long deals, and historically, the teams that do suck, and they end up. Miguel Cabrera. Look at that deal. The Tigers have been horrible for a decade. The Angels, Albert Pujols. The Angels haven't made a playoff. They haven't made the playoffs in a decade, and they have the best player in the world right now with Mike Trout, and the second best with Shohei Ohtani, or 1A and 1B. Teams that sign 10-year contracts historically do not do well, and teams that don't, like the Dodgers, historically do well. The Dodgers have been in the playoffs every year since, I don't know, I was in high school. So it's like if you see a model, if you see the Los Angeles Dodgers model, and you see the Tampa Bay Rays model, and you see teams that are in the playoffs consistently every year, and you see their model, and you do exactly the opposite, what's wrong with you?
It's getting desperate. I mean, I think it's just desperation.
I mean, I just don't get it. The Padres have constantly been trying to outspend and outdo the Dodgers, and every single year, with the exception of a minuscule abbreviated playoff series last year, the Padres have played second fiddle to the Dodgers every single season. And they're notorious. I mean, they're signing guys. They just got Eric Hosmer off the books. I mean, think about that. Like, this is a guy that they had signed for a long time for a lot of money. And he sucked, and they sucked. And then they went, okay, fine, we'll sign Fernando Tatis to a 12-year. Then the guy goes out and he breaks his wrist, and he's doing steroids, and he's doing this, and he's doing that. And it's like, what were you guys thinking? Anyway, I'll get off my soapbox now. It's frustrating in one sense, and it's relieving in another. It's frustrating that Major League Baseball teams continuously give guys decades-long deals. It's relieving that my favorite team doesn't do that.
I like what they do. I'm with you. I did see Padres signed somebody yesterday, didn't they?
Nelson Cruz.
Since we were talking about it.
Yep. Yeah. Padres signed Nelson Cruz, 1 year, $1 million. That's a steal. Listen, I think Cruz's career is practically done, but I'll sign a guy for $1 million to sit on a bench and come in for a pinch hitting situation every now and then, or I got to get some guys some rest. He can DH for me. Listen, I don't think that's a bad deal at all.
Yep.
Again, it's 1 year and $1 million.
Yep.
And I don't know if we alluded to this in the last podcast. We may have, but the Red Sox did sign Rafi Devers.
Yeah, we did.
Okay,
yep,
11 years, $331 million. So,
yep.
that again, another super long contract. I think that they were kind of baited into that. Chain Bloom, who's the GM for the Red Sox, has been taking a lot of heat lately, primarily for the Mookie Betts trade that only yielded them really Alex Verdugo because Jeter Downs got DFA'd.
Yep.
So Alex Verdugo for Mookie Betts, you'd make that trade 1 million times out of a million if you're the Dodgers at this point. And Chain Bloom just continuously is getting the short end of deals, and so I think that was more of a I got to do this to save my job type thing.
Right. Yeah, if he would have lost Devers, he would have.
$30 million a year for more than 10 years. Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Like the Red Sox fans would go find him.
as far as long deals go, I mean, Devers is going to be good. He's a good player, but I guess we'll see what happens. And then Dodgers made a little move yesterday.
Who'd they sign yesterday? Did I miss it? Oh yeah, no, I did. Miguel Rojas. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
where are you at on that trade?
So when I first saw it, I saw Dodgers acquire Miguel Rojas, and I thought I saw Cartea as the receiving, and I was furious. I'm like, I'm saying words that I would be embarrassed to say in front of my grandmother, and my kids were around, like, why are you so upset? I'm like, this is the number one catching prospect in baseball. Like, I can't believe that they let Diego Cartea go, da-da-da. And then I looked closer, and I'm like, oh, Jacob Amaya. Oh, I'm good with that. That's okay. That's all right. And so I like the deal. Again, Rojas was with the Dodgers. He started his career with them. He couldn't hit a beach ball with a surfboard. He just was offensively inept is the most understated way I could phrase it. But defensively, he's great. I mean, he's one of the best gloves I've ever seen.
Excellent defender, yeah.
And he's turned the bat around a little bit. He's starting to, his average is climbing a little bit.
260 career.
Yeah, which, I mean, listen, in the major leagues nowadays, 260 career is pretty good. So I like the idea of bringing this guy back. I don't know what their plans are with him. If he's going to be an everyday guy, if he's going to be a utility guy. We both read a bunch of stuff about it. I heard they may have him play third base. Really?
That's what I read, and then have I guess maybe Lux at short. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what the plan is. I know that Friedman has a plan if he picked him up.
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously something we don't know.
I don't hate it for giving up, only Amaya.
Yeah, he was like the number 10 prospect in the system or something.
I would have hated it for Cartea, but for Diego, though.
Well, again, I don't think we're ever really going to play Diego Cartea. That's not the idea. The idea is
no, but that's a legit trade.
Get a haul. Yeah. When the trade deadline comes around and you need a pitcher, or you need a this, or you need a that, or somebody got hurt and you need to replace him, that's where Cartea comes in. And they will trade him. I firmly believe that Diego Cartea will not be a Los Angeles Dodger at the end of 2023.
Yes,
but it better not be for Miguel Rojas. I mean, that is definitely not how to use that trade chip. So,
probably for Shohei at the trade deadline.
I could see that, and again, that would be Cartea and a multitude of other guys. But that he would be the would be the pinnacle of that deal. That's the guy that other guys want. I mean, man, and we really worked it when we traded. Who was the other catcher that we had? To the Washington, I think. Yeah.
Kybert
Ruiz and Josiah Gray. I think we sent over to Washington, and we got Trey Turner and Max Scherzer. And long term, that probably wasn't great. Again, we lost both Scherzer and Turner, but they gave us chances for a couple of years. So, So again, we've got another catching prospect that we can use as a big trade chip. So I'm ready for it.
I don't hate the Rojas trade. I guess. I mean, he got 111 hits last year. He only struck out 60 times. So he's going to put the bat on the ball.
So will he fill the role? I mean, now that you're giving me those numbers, it sounds like he's a number 2 guy. Like you got Mookie leading off, and then Rojas in the 2-hole is what it sounds like. I mean, the guy doesn't strike out. You got Mookie Betts on base. You're gonna sack a guy over. I
can see it. I don't see why not. Yeah, I don't see 26 walks, so he doesn't really work the walk very good.
So he's putting the bat on the ball.
Yeah, 19 doubles. That's not great. I don't know.
At bats, I mean, 111 hits. What do you have? Like, he must have only had 350 at bats or something like that.
470. 470 at bats. Yep, and he hits.
How do you hit 260? Oh, he's at 260 lifetime.
260 lifetime, 236 last year.
Yeah.
He's had a 300 season. Maybe. Oh no, well, that was only 40 games. Never mind.
Oh, that was probably the COVID year.
That one.
Yeah.
But when he played 80 games for us and hit 181, so he's doing better than that.
Yeah, like I said, he was not good. So
yeah. Yep. So I guess it remains to be seen. I love him in the field, though.
Yeah. All right. So I don't know if there'll be any more free agent signings this week. If not, we might put Around the Horn on hold. We do have pitchers and catchers reporting in a month, so we will definitely be bringing it back in February. But so Gridiron Gab may be going
World
away.
Baseball Classic.
World Baseball Classic. Yep.
I'm pumped about.
Yeah. So Gridiron Gab is going to be subbed for some college basketball talk.
Yep.
Around the Horn may go away for a little bit.
Yep.
And then what do we have next? Are we talking NFL finally? Are we getting to my NFL favorite?
Hey man,
playoffs.
This is your deal. I'm just come along for the ride. Let's do NFL.
All right. Well, Chalk Talk. You ready?
Yes, sir.
Here we go. 772 Sports is brought to you by the Higgins Home Group. Let the tag team of Mike and Vicky Higgins help you either find your dream home or sell your current home for top dollar. The Higgins Home Group is one of Dale Sorensen Real Estate's premier real estate teams. Give them a call at 772-532-8148. Next up, Chalk Talk. All right, we have a special playoff edition of Chalk Talk. This is our NFL talk. It is one of my favorite segments. I absolutely love it. I am ready for Saturday. Mike, are you pumped?
Hold
on, time out, pause. That is not the response I was expecting with your Dolphins backing into the playoffs.
I'm super pumped for the playoffs, but they've already announced Tua is going to be out. So we got Skylar Thompson being the quarterback. So while I am pumped for the playoffs because I love NFL and love watching the playoffs, this is going to be a one-and-done situation for the Dolphins. So not too excited about that, but at least we're there. Good first year for Mike McDaniel. They're going to have to figure out something with Tua, though, because you can't just have a quarterback that's just hurt all the time.
Yeah.
So, I'm pumped. I like the direction of the team, but we're going to have to figure out something at quarterback. Tua's great when he's in there, but he's just hurt way too much. So,
do you guys have a high draft pick? I can't remember.
No.
Okay. All right. So you
no, we may not have.
Oh, that's right. You guys got your first round taken away because Stephen Ross was trying to convince Brian Flores to lose games.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I was going to say, I mean, there are some quarterbacks out there that will fall, that'll fall in the first round. But, I mean, you guys could always trade up or whatever. But
I can give you my prediction if you want.
Yeah, I'm listening.
They're going to sign Lamar Jackson.
Get out.
He's going to be a free agent. He's from South Florida. I'm just saying.
Wow. That fits Mike McDaniel's offense like a glove.
Now, I mean, he's been out a month and a half too, so I don't know what you're doing with. Is he going to be hurt all the time? I don't know, maybe he's not pushing it because the Ravens screwed him over with the contract situation. So, I don't know, but yes, I'm pumped about the playoffs. I'm ready, Curtis.
Yeah, this is the first time in my entire life. I'm 38. I've been watching football for probably 35 years. This is the first time in my entire life that I don't absolutely despise any team in the playoffs. And I only dislike one, Tampa. And it's because of one guy, Brady. But I don't hate Tampa. I kind of like him. Dude, my oldest son is a Seattle fan. I like Seattle. I was a 49er fan growing up. So I like the 49ers. I love Herbert and the Chargers. Jacksonville's in the Colts division, but it's so fun watching a team that was just absolutely horrible get a new coach, get a new quarterback, and do well. I like Jacksonville.
Yep.
I root for the Dolphins. My wife's a Dolphin fan. I root for them. I love the Bills. Again, they were my preseason pick. I like the Giants. I like what they're doing. They're kind of a Jacksonville clone. I like Minnesota. I like the Ravens. I like the Bengals. I like the Cowboys. I'm like, this is awesome, man.
It's going to be a playoff where you can just watch and enjoy every game. Like, it literally doesn't matter what happens.
Right.
Unless, I mean,
I gotta stay. The only thing I gotta stay away from my bookie, because then I'll get invested, literally invested. But dude,
that's what I was gonna say.
I cannot wait to watch. And again, going to the bye team, the Eagles and the Chiefs. I like both of them. Dude, I cannot wait. Like Saturday at 4:30, I'm pumped. I'm ready to go.
I just thought about doing this while I'm looking at the games. So I just want you. So we don't need a lot of explanation or anything, but what do you think is going to be the best game? Like the tightest game?
This weekend?
Yes. And I just thought about this when I was scrolling.
I am the one I'm looking most forward to, because I think it will be the best game, is the Baltimore-Cincinnati games Sunday night.
Well, I think that's only going to be a good game if Lamar plays.
I think division rivals, third time they're playing each other. I think you could put you could take Trent Dilfer out of retirement and put him back there, and I think it's going to be a close game.
Yeah,
and I think Cincinnati's way better than Baltimore, and I think Cincinnati's going to win the game. But I see division rival, and again, you could say the same for Miami Buffalo. But I see those two teams going at it on Sunday night, and I think that's going to be an exciting game to watch. Again, Seattle, San Francisco, they're playing for the third time, and that game could be really good. That's the other thing, is all these matchups, and maybe because Thompson's playing for the Dolphins, maybe that one not so much, but all these matchups are going to be tight. Giants, Vikings is going to be tight. Cowboys, Bucks are going to be tight. Like, these are going to be some good games, man.
Yeah, the 49ers, the line on that one's 10.
Yeah, but I'm telling you right now, again, you're gonna want me to get with my bookie. That game will not be a 10-point game. That I don't know what I'm curious what the over/under is on that.
13 for the Bills. I'm looking at it. Let me see. 42.5.
Yeah. You might want to play. I mean, that could easily be a 17-13 game. Easy. Yeah. Easy.
I think I'm excited about the Chargers-Jags game. I'm excited to see those two young quarterbacks.
Dude, I'm telling you, if you're an NFL fan and your team's not in the playoffs, you got to watch all 6 of these games. Like, you just got to. I think the Giants could surprise some people too. Daniel Jones has played really well this year. And Daboll's been great. Yeah.
That's a 9-win team going up against a 13-win team that I could definitely see being some kind of upset.
Did you say that line was like 13 points?
No, that's only 3. Minnesota 3.
Okay, I'm like, wait a minute, because I have Minnesota in my survival. So my survival pool rolls into the playoffs, and again, you can't pick a team that you've already picked. I have not picked Minnesota yet this year, so I have them, and I need them to win.
Probably your best bet, yeah.
But I mean, I've picked literally every other team I've picked, I think. So I don't know what I'm going to do next week, but yeah, I got Minnesota.
The Bills Dolphins is 13, which I completely expected. With Skylar Thompson, he looks pretty inept at quarterback. But we'll see. I mean, it's third week in a row playing, second week in a row starting. So hopefully they have some kind of game plan drawn up for it. I don't know that you're going to be able to stop Josh Allen anyway. And Mostert might be out, so that's going to be a rough game. But man, I'm excited. It's going to be a fun week. So
here's my question for you: Are there any teams that you saw that didn't make the playoffs that you think would have made a run?
Maybe no. I think I could have seen the Steelers possibly winning a game, but they would have played the Bills. So
you want to hear who I have?
Yeah,
you're gonna laugh. When the season started, you said, "Man, I really like what this team's done," and I said, "They stink. They're horrible."
Carolina?
Nope. One more try, and then I'm going to tell you who it is.
I said they were going to make a run. Hold on, don't tell me.
No, you didn't say they were going to make a run. You just said that you liked what they did and you thought they were going to be good. And we can go back to actually, we'll do this for next week. We'll go back to that previous podcast where we made predictions on who was going to be where, because we did do that. But I'll tell you, the Detroit Lions. I think if Detroit
they
had somehow snuck in, I don't know who they would have played. We could do the math, I guess. They would have played the 2 seed, which would be...
They would have played San Fran, I think.
Woo!
Yeah.
That would have been a fun game to watch. That offense versus that defense. Oh, man. Yep. And I think I think Detroit could have made a run. And I just love that on that Monday or the Sunday night they played. They had nothing to play for. They could not make the playoffs. And and Dan Campbell came out and said either we're gonna make it or they're not. Meaning we're playing to win this game. Even if we can't get in, we're making sure Green Bay doesn't get in. And Green Bay was hot. Green Bay was hot as a pistol.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Detroit came in and was like, nope, not today, boys. You're out. And Seattle kind of backdoored it in.
I almost feel like, and this isn't true, like obviously they would have rather made the playoffs, but I think Detroit probably would see the writing on the wall that they'd be out for the 49ers, and I think they're probably more happy that they put the Packers out of the playoffs than they would have been, or just as happy had they would have made it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, it's funny.
And that's not true. I mean, they would have run it to make the playoffs, but I really do think that they were satisfied and happy.
So I saw this other podcast called Pardon My Take, Barstool Sports, very popular, the millions and millions of views. So one of the hosts, his name is Dan Katz. They call him Big Cat. And he's a huge Bears fan. And they had Aaron Rodgers on their podcast. And Aaron Rodgers asked Dan, how does it feel being a Bears fan where most of your excitement and your joy comes out of me losing? Right? So Dan Katz is a Bears fan, and his excitement and his enjoyment is not in the Bears winning; it's in Green Bay losing. And so Dan said, "I love it." He said, He says again, I know that we're a horrible franchise. I know that. He said, but every time you lose the last game and you go home, it's like the Bears winning the Super Bowl. He's like, that's my Super Bowl. And then he said, and honestly, I have a better record than you do when it comes to the Super Bowls. I mean, it was awesome. But, I mean, there is, as a sports fan, there is pure enjoyment in watching the team you hate lose.
Yeah.
I mean, it just is. For
so
years.
Who is that for you? Is it Titans?
No, I mean, it's funny. I don't know who it is now because the Colts are just so bad. There's really no, for years it was New England. It was New England because that was really.
Mine's still New England.
Yeah, I mean, well, and for you, it's a divisional rival, so that makes a little more sense. I mean, when New England was making their run, dude, when the Giants beat them those 2 times, I mean, I was literally running around the house like the Colts won the Super Bowl. When they lost to Philadelphia, oh my God, man, it was like amazing. I was the biggest Eagles fan you'd ever met. So I really don't have that right now in the NFL. Again, I like all these teams. There's really nobody. It's New England I still don't like. So I still root against them. Again, Tampa is one of those I just don't like, but I don't hate them. I really don't have that in the NFL right now. I have it in baseball. Boy, I have it in baseball. But yeah, when you have that true rival, though, it's so true, man. It's almost as exciting when they lose as it is when you win. And so going all the way back to the Lions and Packers, if you're a Lion, it's almost as exciting watching them lose as it is watching you win. Yeah. I don't know. There's got to be some psychological dysfunction there for somebody like me, but I just
we're obviously going to pick these. We're obviously going to pick these games, right?
Let's do it.
But a couple other things I wanted to touch on real quick before we pick them. We'll have that be the last thing we do.
Okay.
Did you see that DeMar Hamlin's home, which is awesome,
dude? Feet up on the couch, drinking a coffee, watching SportsCenter right now.
Yep.
I mean,
so we love that.
That's amazing. Like I said, I know it's never going to happen, but how freaking cool would it be to see that guy suit up again in an NFL game? I mean, it's not going to happen, but it would be amazing. I guarantee you he'll be at the Buffalo game Sunday at 1.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And then, so I just have two quick free agency questions. Do you think that I'm going to name 2 quarterbacks, and you say, I guess I could have used this as your yay or nay, but I have 2 other ones. So, no, factor cap, I mean.
Yep.
Do you think Lamar Jackson will be a Raven next year, or do you think Aaron Rodgers will be a Packer next year?
I do not think Aaron Rodgers will be a Packer next year. I'll start there.
You think he's going to retire or play? Still play?
I think he's going to pull a Brett Favre. I think he's going to kick the can down the road. I think Green Bay is going to say, you know what, we are done. Like we keep doing that. For instance, look at Devontae Adams. Why do you think he went to the Raiders? It's this inconsistency with Aaron Rodgers saying whether he's going to play, whether he's going to do. Devontae Adams, like, listen, I'd rather go to a 6-win team with my buddy at quarterback who I know is going to be there.
Who's not going to be there next year, maybe.
right, exactly. Well, at the time, though, it looked like Derek Carr was going to be the guy, right? But Aaron Rodgers, I think the Packers are finally going to say, we can't put up with this. This is our second quarterback we've done this with now. You know, Brett Favre now. They're like, forget it. You're out. You're gone. Like, we're not signing you. So I think Aaron Rodgers will kick the can down the road long enough that they'll say we're out. And then he will, I think ultimately he'll sign with someone else. Because it looks like he wants to play. I think he's an attention seeker. And
maybe a little Dolphins a year or two, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I thought they were getting Lamar. Were you gonna have both?
Well, I'll take either one. Either one.
And then my second one is I think Lamar probably stays with Baltimore. I think they've built the offense around him. I think that if they don't have him, it's one of those Jimbo Fisher things. All right, we get rid of Jimbo. Who do we get? All right, you get rid of Lamar. Who do you get? You know, Huntley's not the guy.
Right.
You got to go find somebody in free agency. You got to draft somebody. You got to rebuild this team when you have a team that's in the playoffs. Like, you have a playoff team. Why are you rebuilding? So I think that there's an old saying, go with the devil you know. I think they're going to try and keep Lamar and figure it out. And I think that they're going to force him to take a little pay cut or not get as much as he wants because of his injury history.
Yep.
And I think that he knows that team is built around him. And if he goes somewhere else, whether that be a Miami or whatever, it's like, again, you stay with the devil you know. There are my answers. Rodgers out, Lamar in. What do you think? Obviously, you think Lamar's out.
I mean, I think they're both out. I do think there's a legit shot that Lamar can sign in Miami. Now, whether that happens or not, I don't know. That's just all like reading tea leaves for me. But
have you seen cap room, all that? Like, is it feasible? I mean, obviously, I don't know.
It would be hard. I mean, they they have Tyreek Hill now, but I think they can move some stuff around and make it work.
Gotcha.
But we'll see. And I think Rodgers is probably gone. So, I guess I think they're both gone, but we'll see. I could definitely see Lamar staying, though.
All right.
And then the next thing I wanted to talk about, and this is the last thing I got before we pick, unless you have something else, is
nope.
I happen to see this on SportsCenter. Did you see for the Pro Bowl this year, they're doing dodgeball and a long drive competition?
A long drive competition?
Yeah.
Like golf?
Long drive with a golf ball, yeah.
Nah, that's dumb. I didn't see that. That's dumb.
Is it dumb?
That's dumb.
I'll watch that.
Make it football related, man. I want to see quarterbacks throwing it through hoops. I want to see receivers catching it from
They're doing that still.
All right. Well,
there's still the skills challenge that's staying, but in lieu of a game, there's going to be like dodgeball and.
I like the skills. I like skills. I like the competition. I just kind of want it to be like that sport. Like, I want to see. I want to see. I want to see Aaron Rodgers chuck it 60 yards, 70 yards down. Who could throw it the furthest? Who can be more. They used to do this. Like, I remember watching as a kid these skills competitions. It was amazing. Do that stuff. That's fun. And then I thought there was going to be a flag football game, or are they not doing that now?
There could be. I just I said, I just seen this roll across the bottom. I'm not saying they're not doing that.
Dodgeball is kind of interesting because you do kind of have the throw and the catch aspect of football there. That
we both play golf, so I thought the long drive thing would be cool.
I just
maybe it's maybe cooler in the off season. Do it for charity or something.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, trust me, I'm going to watch it, but it's just like, we'll see. They're gonna.
You're meh.
They're gonna meh. They're gonna have to sell it to me a little bit better. But no, it's. I like that they're getting rid of the Pro Bowl because nobody was. I mean, it was a waste of time.
Yep. So I still think they should do what we talked about last week and have it in the middle of the season and everybody has the same bye week. But that's just
that would kind of be cool. I haven't really thought more about that, but we got to call Goodell, make it happen.
Yeah, we need to get him on the pod. Oh, I meant to ask this during college football. So you just had a commercial during the national championship game.
I did.
Is the natural progression to that sponsoring a bowl?
So here's a little marketing talk for all of you that are still with us on this podcast. All right. So when you have a package deal with Comcast, and that's only where our commercial ran only on Comcast and it ran only in a local Treasure Coast market.
Yep.
We have an annual package with Comcast, and we're able to select certain things in addition to our regular airing that we want. So like, and usually we revolve it around sports. Again, we're a marketing company, so we're trying to get in front of business owners. The idea is a lot of business owners watch sports, so on and so forth. Okay. So I try to get on a lot of golf stuff, and I try to get on a lot of football stuff. The college football championship opened up, and it was actually included in our annual thing. It was one of the things I was able to select. I jumped on that in 2 seconds. Okay.
Yeah.
So we sort of got it for free. Not for free, but it was like included. All right. So a Super Bowl commercial runs about $6 million. Okay. What we did was literally like, if I had to put a value on it, it probably would have cost a couple grand. So,
Right.
So you got 6 million versus maybe 2,000. Yeah. So I don't know if there's a progression that peaks like that.
No,
but
you missed my progression. You missed it.
yeah.
I said, is the next in your progression sponsoring a bowl game?
Oh, sponsoring a bowl game. I'm sorry. I thought you said a Super Bowl commercial. My
The
bad.
Vero Beach social media.
All right. So I did some
Vero
research
Beach
on this
Bowl or
too.
something.
So when Cheez-It, obviously Florida State was playing in the Cheez-It Bowl. Florida State played Oklahoma's Cheez-It Bowl. I looked to see how much Cheez-It paid to be a sponsor, and again, it was like $5 million.
Okay, so you're probably out on
Nope,
that.
I'm out. Anything with 7 figures, pretty much anything with 6 figures, maybe anything with 5 figures. I'm probably going to be out on for a little while. Yeah. If it's under 10 grand, I'm probably in. If it's up to 100 grand, it's you're gonna have to make a really good sales pitch for it. So I would love to sponsor a bowl game though. That would be exciting. But yeah, probably not gonna happen anytime soon.
All right, do you want to do some game picks?
I'd love to do some pick'ems. And sorry for not getting the progression question right. I heard bowl.
No, that's okay.
Thought Super Bowl because it's NFL.
No, that's okay. Let's keep track of these throughout the playoffs. See who can get the most points, and we'll just do.
Yep.
What 1 point for each win.
Well, I'm in one, and it goes. How does it work? It's 2.
It's like
points.
1, 2, 3, 4, or 2, 4, 6.
Yeah,
I saw it.
It's 2 points for week 1, 3 for week 2, 5 for week 3, and if you pick the Super Bowl winner, you get 7 points. So you want to do that? We'll just kind of go with this little pool that I'm in already.
We can do that. I figured we would just pick week by week, and so we'll know the matchups.
Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying though. So this week we'll get 2 points a win. Next week,
yeah.
We'll do 3, and then the next week we'll do worth 5, and then the Super Bowl, if we pick the winner, you get 7.
We'll wait till next week to do the picks for next week.
Yeah.
Got it. Yep. Let's do it.
So we have 6 games. I don't have the lines. I can tell you.
I have them in front of me.
All right. So the first game, Saturday, 4:30. You got Seattle going to San Francisco. I can tell you who I got.
Line's -10, over unders 42.5.
Yeah,
it's at San Francisco. Yeah,
I'm going to take the 49ers, and I'm going to take the under. I would probably take Seattle against the spread.
I'm actually going to take San Francisco big by like 2 touchdowns probably.
Gotcha. And so over under 42?
I'll go over. I think that's
even with the San Francisco defense, huh?
I think San Fran's going to score 30.
Woo! Sheesh.
So
okay.
Yeah. I like the over on that. I'm going big on that.
All right.
So you like San Francisco and the under.
San Francisco pick 'em
and the over.
Seattle against the spread, and then under 42.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Next, we have Los Angeles coming all the way down to sunny North Florida to play Jacksonville. 8:15 Saturday night. I don't know the line. I'm guessing it's Chargers by 3, maybe.
Chargers by 2.5.
2.5. All right. That was just a guess. That was a good guess.
47.5 over under.
Yeah, I'll go Chargers over. Chargers straight up. Chargers against the spread and the over. I
am the same across the board there. Yeah, I could see the Chargers winning that one really, really big.
Jacksonville's been hot lately, and they're at home. But
it is. Yeah, I mean that is a nice stadium to play, man. They have a good home field advantage there.
So here's some inside bookie gambling insight that I have on this. So traditionally, I do not like picking teams from the West Coast that come to the East Coast and play a 1:00 game.
Right.
Because your internal clock, if you're out in LA, is not now you're playing a game at 10 a.m. Because this is a night game. It sounds weird. Because this is a night game, I'm picking the Chargers. If this game was Sunday at 1, I might take Jacksonville.
Yeah, no, I get it.
But and so yeah, Jacksonville kind of got screwed on getting the primetime game. They should have wanted that Sunday 1 o'clock matchup. But anyway, so that's a little insight for you. So Chargers, straight up Chargers -2.5 and over 47.
47.5. Yep.
47.5. I got it. All right. And you got the same, right?
I got same as you. Yep.
All right.
We're the same on that one.
Sunday, 1 o'clock, the Miami Dolphins get to go to frigid Buffalo and play against the most emotionally driven team in the NFL, the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo is a 13-point. Is that what you said? 13-point favorite?
Yep, 13. Yep.
And what's the over/under?
43.5.
Ooh. What's the weather look like?
28, and it says it looks like partly sunny. It's not showing snow or anything on here, but
ooh, so that's one of those. I need to make a move at like 12:30 to figure this out, because if there's ice and snow, well, first of all, I'm taking Buffalo straight up. I'm taking Miami against the spread, and weather pending, I will take the over if there's no snow. How do you like that? How do you like that for a pro?
Yeah, I actually think I'm the same all the way across. I like Buffalo. I think the Dolphins probably can find a way to keep it closer than 13.
That's just a lot of points in an interdivisional playoff game.
Yeah, and they've seen each other 3 times.
Yep. And McDaniel's going to come up with a plan. McDaniel's going to have a plan for Thompson.
He will. He will. I can definitely see some Wildcats, some stuff like that going on. Yeah, I think I'm with you across the board on that one too.
All right,
so
then
we've got nothing different yet.
Yeah, we got the only thing different is against the spread. You got San Francisco winning big, and I think Seattle keeps it close.
But as far as pick'em goes,
yep. All right, 4:30 Sunday, Giants heading to Minnesota. What's the line? Minnesota by 3?
3.
Yep.
3 and 48's the over/under.
All right, I need Minnesota. So, like, out of desperation, I'm taking the Vikings. I'll take them to cover, and I will take the over.
So you're going Minnesota over. Oh, I'm back and forth on this one. I really like what the Giants are doing. I think we're going to be the same everywhere else. So I think I'm just going to go Giants just for the sake of.
All right.
Just for the sake of my marriage.
Hey, Vicky, listen to this part.
Yeah, and for this, and just for the sake of us having something different. I could definitely see the Vikings winning this game, but I just for some reason love the way the Giants are playing. So, yeah, let's see what happens. I like the Giants. I do like the over.
I think there's going to be a lot of points scored there. I just think both teams are going to go back and forth. But all right, Sunday night again. What I think is going to be the best game of the weekend. Baltimore heading to Cincinnati. 8:15 game. Lamar Jackson is he officially out, or we're not? Sure
he's not officially out. They've not said he's playing. So.
Gotcha. All right. So do we have a provisional line, or
we have 8.5?
8.5. Cincinnati minus 8.5.
Yep, and then over under a 40.5.
40.5.
40. Yep. 40.
Oh my God, that's a Vegas trap. Well, they're probably assuming Huntley. They're probably presuming Huntley's playing. 40.5. Holy cow! Like, how do you not take the over on that? How do you not take the over on 40.5 in an NFL game?
I mean, I already wrote down Cincy in the over, so
yeah. All right. So here's how I'm going to play this. I'm going to take Cincy. I'm going to take Baltimore against the spread, and I'm going to play the under, just because Vegas is trapping me in this. Vegas is trying to trap me on 40.5. Baltimore
but you're
going like 6
Baltimore
points
against the spread.
Yeah. Yep.
Gotcha.
Yep. And then Monday night. How do you feel about Monday night playoff games, Mike? Second year in a row they've done it.
I'm another night with football. I'm fine with.
Yeah, is it not a little unfair to the teams that are playing?
I mean, they get an extra day of rest this week,
and then they're playing short rests next week.
Short rest next week. Yeah, I guess I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Just
I like it. I like it for me.
Yeah, no, that's true. Another night. But anyway, for that Monday night playoff game, we have Dallas heading to sunny Central Florida to play Tampa Bay. It's kind of cool. All three Florida teams in the playoffs this year. And two of them have home games.
First time in 23 years.
Yep. So Dallas Cowboys against Tampa Bay Bucks in Tampa, Monday night, 8:15. I don't know what the line is.
Minus Dallas? 2.5 Dallas.
Yeah, I was going to say Dallas, road favorite, 2.5. Here's my thing. If Dallas is playing a team like Tampa and they're 2.5-point road favorites, I'm like, yeah, I'll probably take Dallas. I cannot pick against Brady in the playoffs. I just can't do it.
Even though you hate him.
Even though I hate him. I have to take Tampa. What's the over-under in this?
45.
I will take Tampa in the over. Against the, I'll take the 2.5 points. I'll take the straight up, and I'll play the over.
So I'm doing like the unwritten cardinal rule here, and I'm going to go against Brady. I'm going to go Cowboys, and I'm going to go the over. And I think it's probably a stupid pick.
Yeah, probably. Dak did not look good last week.
But I'm going to try it and see what happens.
Yeah.
For argument's sake, I really don't care who wins the game. I want to see a good football game, but I'll take Dallas. We have two different, so.
All right. So, all right. So, what are the two? I have Minnesota and Tampa, and you have the Giants and Dallas.
I have Giants and Dallas. Yep.
Got it. All right. Well, that's. I'm excited. I'm ready for Saturday.
Yeah, I'm ready. You gonna be tuned in Saturday, Sunday, Monday?
Come on, dog. Come on. I'm going to be sitting there watching these games. So, yeah, that's it. You have anything else that you want to jump on?
Nothing else on NFL. I'm good to go.
All right. What do we have next? Little basketball?
Little NBA action, huh?
NBA. Let's do it.
Let's go.
All right, here we go. Double Drivel. All right, folks, this is a little double drivel. It's our NBA talk. Again, we are in the middle of the season. We're about 42 games into an 82-game season, so we're just kind of cruising along. Mike, any big news in the NBA front?
So I guess just the biggest thing that aside from games being played and all that is I just saw this morning that Kevin Durant's going to be out for at least a month. So that's going to be big. They had won like 18 of 20 or something.
Yeah, they're on a 2-game winning streak now.
Obviously.
Yeah, number 2 seed.
That's going to hurt them.
Yeah. They've been smoking hot. They're 27-13 on the season. They're only 2 games behind the Celtics for the Eastern Conference lead. They're 9-1 in their last 10. Yeah, they've just been cruising along. And yeah, with Durant, did they say what the injury was?
It's MCL, I think, an MCL strain. Yep. So that's one of those you don't know how it's going to react to. So
yeah,
if that thing stays flared up or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, knee injuries, man, for a basketball player, that's got to be tough. Even if it's a meniscus, whatever. I mean, you're just nonstop running up and down, jumping.
Yep.
Yeah, knee injuries aren't good, so it's probably best to sit him for as long as they need to. But yeah, I mean that's big news, and it's a big hurt for a team that's cruising.
Yeah, I mean, and
go ahead. You're gonna say something.
I was just gonna say Boston. I mean, Boston's balling in the East, so they're the first team to 30 wins. No other, the other highest is 28, so they're 2 games up on best record.
Yeah. So
yeah, that's
between Boston, Brooklyn, and Milwaukee. I think that those are the power 3 in the East. But the Sixers have been they've been cruising along. They've moved up to the 4 seed. They've been playing pretty well lately. They're 25-15, only 4 games back. And Cleveland, again, we talked about Cleveland on the last podcast, but they're sitting there at the 5. Just to wrap things up in the East, you got the Knicks at 6, Pacers at 7. Big shocker, by the way. Pacers doing well this year. Heat at 8, Hawks at 9, and Bulls at 10. So again, we talk about this all the time. Everybody makes the playoffs in the NBA, but there was a time there a couple weeks ago where I thought the Magic had won like 2 games in a row. I was like, oh my God, they're actually going to make a run, and they still suck. But
oh man,
so that's the East.
Yep.
And then in the West, you have Denver and Memphis sitting at the top. Pelicans doing really well. They're the 3 seed. They're 3.5 back. Then you have the Kings 4, Mavs at 5, Clippers at 6, Suns at 7. The Warriors, I don't know how they're doing it because they're not playing well. They're at 8, Jazz at 9, and Minnesota at 10. So the teams that are out, the Trailblazers, Lakers, Thunder, Spurs, and Rockets. And the Lakers just cannot seem to get their stuff together, man.
Yeah, and Anthony Davis is out for a while, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. And LeBron's been missing games. I mean, yeah, it's just, man, they just cannot figure things out.
And they're still, let's see, let me just, before I say it, they're still only one game out of a playoff spot.
Again, everybody makes the playoffs. What I'm impressed about is Memphis.
Yeah, I mean, Ja Morant is unbelievable.
Yeah, they've won 8 in a row, and they're now tied with Denver for the 1 seed in the West.
Jokic for the Nuggets is having an amazing year.
So that's my youngest son's favorite player, and he reminds me every single day that Jokic should win his 3rd MVP in a row.
He got a triple-double 2 nights ago, or maybe last night, and only took 5 shots. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Was that not an amazing? I'm like, what the hell?
That is. I mean that goes in the. Did you ever see the Jerome Bettis stat line where he had like 5 carries for 1 yard and 3 touchdowns? Like that goes in the the triple double category of he only took 5 shots and ended up with a triple double.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. Yeah. So yeah, they're 8-2 in their last 10. They're good, man.
Yeah.
So again, there's a lot of this is going to change. We're not even to the All-Star break yet. But I think Denver, Memphis, and maybe New Orleans are kind of the clear-cut top 3 there right now. But watch for Luka to make a run with Dallas, like he always does.
That guy's incredible too.
I'm excited for the second half of the season.
Yeah. So again, we have the NBA All-Star break coming up. I don't know exactly. Is it next weekend?
I
can't remember. I know it's coming up. It's February. Oh wow, no, it's in a month. February 19th. Okay, so for some reason I was thinking January 19th, but it's February 19th. So we got a little while. Yeah. But it's funny. Who do you think's the number 1 vote getter right now for the All-Star game?
I don't know. I think it should be Ja Morant, but probably LeBron James or somebody.
LeBron James, number 1. Who do you think's number 2?
Number 2, Kevin Durant.
Yep. So LeBron James has 3.1 million votes. Kevin Durant has 3.1. So it's 3.16 to 3.11.
Right.
Ja Morant does not have 1 million votes. 915,000. He is 3rd in the Western Conference for guards. How crazy is that? Like this guy's.
Who are the 2 above him? Does it say?
Curry and Doncic, Luka.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And Nikola is the they call it front court and guards. So I guess a forward. He's the number 2 forward. Nikola is
gotcha.
Right behind LeBron in the West. But anyway, I just kind of laughed at that. Draymond Green. Yeah, I mean is getting votes. Like
that's how it is when you have fan voting and stuff. Yeah. I mean that's not surprising.
So the next fan update will be today. And fans account for 50% of the vote, and then players and the media account for 25% each. So we'll see how all that shakes out. But there'll be guys that get in that don't deserve to get in. There'll be guys that don't get in that do deserve to get in, and that's just the nature of professional All-Star games. But I mean, I think do you think at some point, this isn't the Hall of Fame, this is an All-Star game. Does body of work for does LeBron deserve to get in? If he's not been hurt all year, does he deserve to get in just by being in the league? My thing is, All-Star game should be season dependent. So, just because you had 10 great years behind you doesn't mean you should be in this All-Star game. Gotcha. I'm not a fan of legacy selections, but it happens. I mean, it whether I like it or not, it exists. So, I just don't like it. I will say this though, when they did, who was it that got in the All-Star game this year because of legacy for MLB? Oh, was it like Miguel Cabrera and Albert Pujols or something? Pujols. Yeah. I was okay with that. Because that was a little different. Yeah, they announced that they're going to select 2 guys because of this. And that's fine. Right. But, you shouldn't be taking spots away from deserving players because you were good for a while ago. Yeah. But
I agree.
But yeah, that's our NBA update. Anything else you want to talk about there before we move on to ice hockey?
Man. Nope. Keep an eye on Jokic. Keep an eye on Luka and Ja Morant. And I think, there's going to be a tight race for MVP. So I'm looking forward to the stretch run of the season. But I'm ready for a little hockey talk.
All right, let's do it. Here we go.
Let's do it.
Power play. All right, everybody, this is our NHL talk, Power Play. It is Mike Higgins' favorite segment. He knows more about hockey than anybody we've ever met, and if you've ever listened to this podcast, you know I'm being facetious.
That's cap.
That's cap. Yeah, factor cap. Mike knows hockey. Big cap. So, again, same thing with the NBA. We are in the middle of the season. There's not a ton of stuff going on. We thought maybe we'd go over some power rankings and see if that's accurate. So what do we have? Well, we know the Bruins are the best team in the league, and we've been talking about that for a couple of weeks. Mike, have you been following this at all? You know anything about this?
I mean, I've been following the scores and stuff. I've not really been not diving too deep into it. Like I said, we still got football, and I follow basketball more than hockey. So I have been following the scores and like the standings and stuff, but I can't tell you any of the ins and outs.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. I do watch a lot of hockey. I just focus on one team, the New York Rangers. I really don't watch other games. It's funny. I'm like that with MLS. I can tell you everything you want to know about Orlando City's soccer team. I don't know anything about any of the other teams. So again, Boston Bruins, definitely, it looks like they're the best team in the NHL. ESPN has a power rankings listing. They have Carolina is number 2. The Rangers just played Carolina the other night. I will tell you, Carolina's a really good team. So yeah, they're probably number 2. Toronto at 3, the Golden Knights at 4, and the Winnipeg, not New York, Jets at number 5. I was a little surprised that I saw the Kraken down at number 12. I know they're traditionally pretty good, but it seems right to me with the exception of Seattle. Like I was kind of surprised Seattle wasn't up there.
So I have a question because I'm looking at the standings. So they have Bruins as 1, obviously, right?
Right.
And who's 2?
Carolina. They have as the number 2.
Carolina.
Yeah.
And let me just.
They're number 1 in the Metropolitan. They have 57 points.
Yeah. So you get 3 points for a win. Is that right?
You get 2 for a win. 2 points for a win.
So.
And 1 for an overtime loss.
So just in the standings, Boston is 8 points up on the closest person as far as points go. That seems like a huge lead to me. As far as points go, is that like not insurmountable, but that's a pretty good lead, right?
Okay. So again, not only are they 9 points up on Toronto, who's number 2 in their division, but they also have played 2 fewer games.
Games in hand. That's what we talked about.
Games in hand. Right. So Boston doesn't have a 9-point lead. They have a 9-point lead with 2 games in hand. So yeah, it's not insurmountable, but Boston's going to be the number 1 seed when it all shakes out.
I'm looking at all the records and stuff, and like I get intrigued by the numbers, but Boston is undefeated at home. 19-0-3.
They have 3 losses. They were just in overtime. So yeah, either that was in regular overtime play or in shootout. But 19-0-3. Yeah, you do not want to play them at home. They are good.
So explain that to me. So they still have losses at home.
So if the game ends in regulation, so you play your 3 20-minute periods, and let's say it's 1-1 or 2-2 or whatever, you will now get at least 1 point. Okay.
Okay.
If you lose in overtime or in a shootout, it's considered an overtime loss, and you get a point. If you win, you just get your 2 points. Overtime wins and regular wins count the same. Overtime losses and regular losses do not count the same.
So the 3 so where do you get ties at? If it ends in regular,
there are no ties at all.
So the 19-0-3 is actually 3 losses, but in overtime.
Correct.
Okay, gotcha.
Are you more confused now?
Yeah, that's I've never seen that.
Yeah, well, they've been doing that for a few years now. There used to be ties in hockey, and then they got rid of them, which I like. You know, I'm a baseball fan. I don't like ties.
So no ties.
No ties. Yeah. So you're talking about. I mean, that's a wild record though. 19-0-3 at home. It's interesting because the Devils are 15-2-1 on the road. So when New Jersey plays Boston next, I'm gonna maybe watch a little bit of that because a really good road team against a really good home team. How's that gonna shake out? But yeah, Boston is just they're playing lights out right now. They played in the Winter Classic, and again, fun game. They played in Fenway, and now they're just cruising. They are cruising through the NHL right now. Nobody can catch them. I mean, they're 32-4-4 overall.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Until this year, I never paid attention to records, but that seems like no matter what, that's really good.
That's like the Golden State 73-9 season. I mean, you're 32-4-4. That's pretty damn good.
So that win-loss, so the 32-4.
Yep. So they've lost four games in regulation. So again, after the 60 minutes, they lost. It's over. And then they have another four games where they went into overtime and lost.
Gotcha.
So they've lost. They're really 32-8.
32-4-4. I got it now. Okay, I see it. That is wildly confusing.
Actually, I think if you look at
32-8.
I think if you look at the standing sheet anywhere, it'll say WL and then OTL.
It does. Yep. Now it makes sense. It's games played, wins, losses, and then overtime losses.
Right.
So,
right.
Okay,
and then points
sense.
should be somewhere in there too.
Yeah, points are right after that.
That's ultimately all that really matters. But yeah, so all right, do the math. 32 times. Look at Boston's stat line. They have 32 wins, so that's 64 points, and then 4 overtime losses should give them 4 more. That's 68. They have 68 points, right?
Yep.
There you go.
Yep, and losses don't take away. You just don't get
right. You get 0 for that. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Very soccer stylish.
Yeah.
But yeah, little lesson today.
Are you looking at? Do you have the standings in front of you?
No, I'm pulling them up now.
All right, without looking, who do you think the worst team in the league is as far as points?
Okay, I won't pull it up yet. Who's the worst? Oh my God, I'm not gonna know this because I don't watch a lot.
I'll let you know.
Okay,
let you know. They're in the West.
Oh shit, they're in the West. All right, I was gonna pick an Eastern team. All right, I was gonna say the Flyers because I know they're really bad. Somebody in the West. Oh my God, I don't follow Western Conference.
Way worse than the Flyers. The Columbus Blue Jackets.
Oh yeah, they suck. They're bad.
The Flyers have 41 points. The Columbus Blue Jackets have 26.
Okay. I got it pulled up now. So yeah. Oh,
There's
shit.
Actually,
okay, I won't look at the West. All right. Who's the worst team in the West?
It's kind of by a lot too.
Really?
By 4 points.
I know Anaheim's bad. I know they're really bad, and I know San Jose is not good this year.
They're third to worst, fourth to worst.
Yeah, I don't know.
This is a team to me I've always heard of, so it's like a traditionally good team. I think they've been around forever. They also
are they an original
NFL
6 team?
franchise.
I could probably rattle off. I could probably figure that out.
They have a really bad NFL team too.
All right.
Who I think might have the first pick in the draft this year.
Oh, well, you gave that away. The Blackhawks. Yeah.
Yep.
Original 6 bad football team, first pick in the NFL draft, Chicago. You know what's really funny? The people are gonna laugh listening to this that are hockey guys. I forgot that Chicago was in the West. I thought they were in the East.
Yeah, I mean, I could see how that
but when you said Chicago, I was like, that's right. They're in the West, which is backwards. But
if you asked me, not knowing, I would say they're in the East.
Well, I mean, the Bulls are in the East. I mean, Chicago's an Eastern team, but they are in the West, and I don't know why that is. And it occurred to me when you were talking about when I was like Bears, like they can't be the Blackhawks. I'm like, oh yeah, it can be. Yeah, they again, I don't really watch a lot of Chicago. I don't watch a lot of Blackhawks, so I don't really know. But yeah, I guess they're bad. Again, I know the Ducks are bad because. You remember Mighty Ducks? Like every time, every time I see them, I think of that, and like their scores, like they always lose. Like it's like every time I see their score, they lost.
Third worst in the league.
I'm looking now; they're 12, 26, and 4. I'm like, yeah, that makes sense.
Blackhawks, Blue Jackets, Ducks.
Yeah.
That's your three.
Columbus
That's your bottom
Columbus
three.
is bad. I forgot about them too. But and my son's a Flyers fan. That's why I picked them because I know that they're really bad. But yeah. Oh man. Well, yeah. So here we are.
There's really bad though, and then there's really bad because Columbus is 26 points and Philly has 41 points. That's like serviceable.
Yeah. Again,
You know
Philly's
what I mean?
played 2 more games though. So
2 games in hand.
Philly's 17, 18, and 7. And so Columbus could get 4 more points. They could be at 30.
True.
But
still way behind.
Yeah. But yeah. Anyway, that's hockey talk. We're power rankings. Boston's good. Columbus is bad.
Yeah,
look at that
that's
spread.
What we got out of it.
Boston 32-4-4. Columbus 12-26-2. Yeah. Not good. You want to do some factor cap?
Let's do it.
All right. Here we go. Fact or cap? All right, everybody. This is Fact or Cap. It's our last segment. We're going to wrap this thing up. Mike's going to ask me a couple questions. I'm going to ask him a couple questions. And then we're going to say whether they are true or false. But we're going to say them in today's lingo. We're going to say fact or cap. So
fact or cap. If I actually say that in front of my kids, they yell at me. So
do they? Yeah, my kids don't like when I use their language either. Yeah, I say bruh all the time, like as a joke. And they get mad. They don't get mad. They laugh. And it's like, I'm not allowed to say it. So, like, you're allowed to say it, but I'm not allowed to say it. But anyway, Mike, what's your first question for our Factor Cap segment?
So, Factor Cap. They're good. Both of mine are Dodger related to kind of honor our last baseball segment. As constructed now, assuming they don't make any more moves, will the Dodgers win the West?
Fact.
Okay.
I think the Dodgers still have a 95-win team. I really do. I believe in the young guys. I trust the process.
Okay. Good. My next question is going to be about a young guy. So,
all right. So, because we're going to be getting into college basketball here soon, I pulled this up. I have not followed college basketball at all. I watch a little Florida State. They're not good. But I see that Miami is ranked number 16. Factor cap. Miami wins the ACC in basketball this year.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Now, this is a traditionally poor year for ACC teams.
Right.
North Carolina's not at the top. Duke's not at the top. Virginia's up there, but other than that,
Virginia's above them.
Yeah. Other than that, Duke is like 24.
Duke's got some injury problems going. I'll say they win it.
Okay. All right.
Regular season. Well, I'll say they win the ACC regular season title.
Okay. All right. Got it.
Fact.
All right. What's your next factor cap question?
Speaking on the young guys, I think that I don't know. I'll read the question, then I'll get. Will Miguel Vargas play more than 100 games in the MLB this year?
Fact. I think he's gonna have to.
Yeah.
I just don't see a way with the current roster as it is that he's not like an everyday player, which is fine. I like him. I think he's good. He's young. Like I just said, I trust him. I trust the process.
So that's a fact, but subject to change if the Dodgers make more moves.
Yeah. Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, definitely. But I do think that he's got to as is. So yeah.
Gotcha.
All right. And then my factor cap for you is the Chicago Bears have the first overall pick in the NFL draft. Factor cap, the Bears trade out of that pick.
That's a good one. I think I'm gonna go. I think I'm gonna go cap. Well,
you think they're going to keep it?
I'm back and forth. That's a good question.
Man, I don't know what they're going to do.
They could get a lot for that pick. I'll say fact that they trade out of it.
Yeah, I think that
because they need a lot and they're not just a year away. They're not like one piece away. So yeah,
So
I'll
this
say
is-
fact they trade out of it.
This is some chess that's going to go on here because Houston has the number 2 pick. Chicago does not need a quarterback. They have Justin Fields. They have their guy, right? And so Houston's probably thinking, man, we're sitting pretty in the city. We're going to get our guy, even though we're picking number 2. But if you got a team like the Colts, or you have a team that needs a quarterback that can trade to the number 1 spot and get Bryce Young, that then scares the Texans into saying, shoot, we need to trade for the number 1 pick. So if I'm Chris Ballard, the Colts GM, I am making it widely known. I am being loud and proud that I am trying to make a deal with the Bears for the number 1 pick. But that ain't really happening. All I'm doing is getting Houston nervous to make a trade for the number 1 pick so that they lose their second, they lose their third, they lose next year's one, whatever it happens to be. Yeah. And you get addition by subtraction here for the Colts. The Colts are still going to get their number 4 pick. They're going to get their number 2 guy. They're going to get, whether that's CJ Stroud or Will Levis or whatever. But you could work it so that your rival has to give up a shit ton to get the same guy they were going to get anyway.
Yeah, so that brings me back to kind of another plan, and I know we're getting off, but did Lovie Smith get fired because he had a game-winning drive that cost them the number 1 pick?
I don't know, but it crossed my mind because
all
they should have lost that game.
Goes out the window if they just lose the game.
Right. But yeah, now this is really screwed. I mean, Lovie Smith winning that game against the Colts last week may have set the Houston Texans back a few more years. That one game could have done it, and I love it. It's awesome because I hate Houston. But yeah, anyway, so I think the Bears ultimately traded back. But yeah, there's your answer.
There it is. I'm with you on that. I'll go fact on that as well.
All right, that's it from us. What is this, episode 14? This is a lot of episodes.
14.
All right, that's it for episode 14. Catch us next week for episode 15. Thank you all for listening.
We'll be here.
Thanks, Mike.
Yeah, man. See ya.